Shalom and good day all. This is Tehillim29 back again. And here we are covering Fool's Gold. And what are we covering in Fool's Gold? Young Justice by Brian Michael Bendis and Walker. Ooh, do I have some things to say about this. But I better cover this pretty quickly. To those who are new to Fool's Gold, as you can see, I cover the cover, the art, and the story, and then you'll see that there's a total here. A total for the artist and a total for the writer. Now, this total links to this total, how much I paid for it, but in return, I'm going to point out how much I believe it's actually worth. So, seeing that it's at $3.99 that you can see here, and because I've got a standing order through my LCS, it's at $7.15 in Australian dollars. Now I'll leave you to do the currency conversion afterwards when I've finished pointing out how much I believe the cover's worth, the art's worth, and the story. So let's get started. Does this cover in turn show in things, or does it match up with the internal art of the story? I'd have to say, in part, it actually does. So great job from the artist. Cover rating, I'm going to give it 5 out of 10. How much I believe the cover's worth? Probably $1.50. That's $1.50 Australian. I'll leave that for you to do the currency conversion on your end. Let's move into internal art and how much I believe it's worth and how much I believe its rating is worth. Okay, this is covering just one of the pages, or a couple of the pages that you see within the story. And I'll move to another one, which is towards the end of the story. Alright, with the art, I'm actually quite happy with the art, and it gets a 5 out of 10. Let's move into the fun part. Now, that also leaves it to be worth about $1.50 in regards to the art. So, at the moment, the artist has a total of $3 Australian. Not the 7 that I pay for. Let's move to the writer. This story, does it give cast of characters? Yes, it gives cast of characters. It's important because if we don't know who the cast of characters are, you're going to be left out as to knowing who is who. What about time? Do we get anything covering time? In some essence, yes. In some essence, no. So a bit of a 50-50 in that. What about location? We don't get all locations here, but we do get a location or two. Next thing is comic references. Because comic references are important to the story, aren't they? And these comic references also include comic references to actual comics, such as, seeing this is covering the character of Bart Allen, also Impulse, also called the Flash, and Kid Flash. And here we seeing him returned as Impulse. So, do I have anything to say about the comic references? Well, let's do this. Let's go to both areas to where the comic references are. Alright, this is pointing out the first comic reference that we see within the comic. And you see what the editors put down here, and I'd have to say it's very lazy. I mean it's very lazy, especially if you're covering this character. You're not really going to help with sales. Because what if a reader, this is their first time, and they're specifically interested in the character of Bart Allen alone as Impulse, and you decide to put in, just see any Flash comic in relation to Bart Allen. Well, that's not really going to help the reader, because what if they happen to pick up the next comic and Bart Allen, Impulse, this Kid Flash isn't in there? You have just made a useless sale. You've given a useless sale to someone who might be specifically interested in just learning not about any of the other Flashes, but this particular Flash. But you know what they also do? They put the same mistake somewhere else. And here we go, we've got Bart Allen, and we're told that this character is the Mirror Master. And once again, the public, the reader, is being told, just see any Flash comic ever. That's lazy. That is absolutely lazy. Alright? If you wanted to show something, especially in relation to Bart Allen, Impulse versus the Mirror Master, and wanted to gain a sale, plus it would also increase the credibility of the editor as well as the writers on this team, including Bendis. Alright, you could have found one of the original or earliest or even last time that Impulse came up against Mirror Master, because this is where this is being indicated in reference to this particular picture and this particular villain. All you'd really have to do is find the exact Flash comic. It wouldn't matter if it's New 52 or pre-52 or whatever. Even if it's somewhere within Rebirth. Or even Flash Rebirth. If it happens to be in there. Or it could be somewhere else. Give the direct location to the reader. Because if you can't give the direct location to the reader, it's a loss of sales. And you know what? The loss of sales aren't on the reader's hands. They're on your hands. So where does this move the rating for the story? And yes, Bendis, you're in the firing line of this as well, because you should have done your homework alongside with the editor. And it would also work better with the continuity of the story. Story rating. Okay, rating for cast of characters, 5 out of 10. Rating for locations, 4 out of 10. Rating for comic references. I'm gonna have to say this, 0 out of 10. It's freaking terrible. Reference. Oh, what about covering time? 3 out of 10. Overall story rating. 1.5 out of 10. Well, that's the thing, you gotta be harsh. If you really want to pick up something of Brian Michael Bendis that is better than this Young Justice, go pick up his Jinx World stuff. That is something I do recommend over this. Especially pick up his Powers series. Okay, moving towards the end of this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. And remember, let's keep it colourful.